My only problem with ICE is that they're going after every minority group except black people. I mean, you're trying to reduce crime. You're just giving them more room to breathe. But I understand. Can you imagine the shape you have to be in to deport black people?
Did you get picked? Like, I know some of the people in the crowd were laughing with you, but the shit wasn't funny. And knowing how uneducated people are in America, especially about black Americans, you can't convince me that some of the people that were voting against their best interests were doing that so that black Americans could potentially be terrorized by ICE. Like, I remember the rhetoric in February and January of last year. Then they were like, oh, ICE isn't going to come after us. We're citizens and we're naturalized citizens. They made an amendment to make sure that we have our rights. And that's when some of these people were like, wait, black Americans actually have rights? They treat them like shit, but they got rights? They got more rights than us. This is making me angry. And it's just like, it's crazy how much these people hate us and how much they're willing to bend the white supremacy to get a little laugh off the backs of black people. And it's just like, shit wasn't even funny to begin with. And it's just, yeah, man, I don't know. Like, why is everybody so concerned about black Americans all the time? I really don't get it.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So, comedian Hans Kim decides to make a joke saying that ICE is deporting everyone but black people. Everybody laughed. So, this ridiculous joke pushes a narrative that black people are somehow exempt from a system that historically incarcerated us. So, you really believe we're getting special privileges? And you want to know the crazy part? This joke didn't even hold up because, first of all, black immigrants are deported every year. Haitians, Jamaicans, Caribbeans, Africans. Did we forget? So if you found this joke funny, ask yourself why it was funny to you. Because if comedy has to rely on misinformation, it's no longer comedy, it's scapegoating.
So did you all see the video about the Asian comedian who was literally joking with blacks and saying that ICE deported a lot of people, but ICE didn't deport black Americans? I mean, how funny can that be? Because a lot of people didn't find this funny. I mean, did you find it funny? Because I do not understand why a lot of people are beginning to say that if ICE was supposed to deport people, ICE will have deported the black Americans. I mean, why? A lot of people who stay there actually are beginning to a lot of people who were there during the show or whatever he was doing at that time said that they didn't find it fun. People are posting videos about this and they are saying that he was not supposed to say this, that was extreme. But anyway, we're going to let the rest of the videos play out so we can get other people's reaction on this topic. So please don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your comments too, because I want to know what you all think. Alright, so the original creators of these videos, let's watch the videos play out. Then we come back, read the comments on what people have to say. Alright, thank you so much. Let's watch and then we come back.
Being black in America is funny to everybody except us because we actually have to live through all the BS. We've had to live through it and we continue to live through it. And now we have comedians who are finding humor in their racist jokes against us.
I have something to say to the Asian community that is anti black. How can you be anti black when the black man didn't cause Agent Orange in Vietnam? The black man didn't bomb Hiroshima or Nagasaki. The black man didn't put Asian people in concentration camps after Pearl Harbor, and that was about 120,000. And the black man didn't call COVID the Kung Fu virus. While all of that being anti-black towards me, you live off of the benefits of the civil rights. The one fucking thing you could say is thank you.
The Asian community is literally so anti-black, and it literally fucking pisses me off. Like, we are literally so uneducated, uninformed, just misinformed, everything about the black community, and it pisses me off. And like, it just boggles my mind how a lot of Asians see black people as beneath them. I shit you not, I literally saw someone on my story and I literally was so gagged. Like, I was like, are you serious right now? And I sent him a message, ask him if he's being serious about this. This guy is Bhutanese. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but like I guess he got like some kind of spray tan or whatever because he's doing some kind of stupid movie shoot or whatever. Roy posts on his story and says, because his skin is like 10 shades darker or something, he said, "Can I say the N-word now?" with a ninja emoji next to it. I slid up so fucking quick and I asked this man, "Are you fucking serious right now?" And guess what? That man left me on red. Need I say again that he is not black? He is Bhutanese from Bhutan or whatever the pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Quite honestly, like, the Asian community is literally so underhandedly racist to the black community, and it just, like, not to mention the black community is one of the most supportive of marginalized groups that has ever, like, uplifted the Asian community and actually put effort into supporting us. I'm probably going to piss a lot of Asians off for saying that, but it's literally the truth, and I can see it for what it is.
Let's have the conversation that people love to sidestep, because anti-blackness does not just come from white folks, and it for sure did not just appear out of nowhere. And if we're serious about solidarity, we have to trace where it actually started. Now, first thing, this is not about all Asian communities. That's lazy, and I am not lazy. But when we talk about patterns, we're talking about systems. And the system made sure that anti-blackness wasn't just exported, it was globalized. See, when European powers colonized Asia, they didn't just take the land, they also imported hierarchy. They pushed the idea that lighter skin meant civility, wealth, purity, and darker skin was poverty, backwardness, and danger. And that colonial script seeped deep, from India to the Philippines, all the way to Japan. Skin tone became the ladder, and whiteness was always at the top. If we fast forward to Asian immigration in the US, you arrive in a country that's already built on anti-blackness, already criminalizing black life. And what do politicians do? They dangle a deal. If you distance yourself from black people, we'll give you a seat closer to whiteness. And that's where the model minority myth comes in. It was never a compliment, it was always a weapon. The government used it in the 1960s to say, hey, look at these Asian immigrants. They work hard, they follow the rules. Why can't black folks do the same? And that's when it turns survival into separation. And here's the ugly truth. Some communities actually leaned into it, right? Because if your family's safety, your visa, your livelihood depends on being seen as the good immigrant, you'll play the role, even if it means stepping on black people to do it. But don't get it twisted. This was not organic hate. It was policy. It was propaganda. And it worked. Because it kept us divided while white supremacy stayed in power. So when we talk about Asian anti-blackness today, whether it shows up in colorism, anti-black policing in Asian-owned shops, or even silence around Black death, we've got to understand that it didn't just fall from the sky. It was planted by colonizers, by governments, by systems that profit when we fight each other and not them. And until we name that history, we are not building solidarity. We're just repeating the cycle. And I, for one, refuse to keep the cycle quiet.
You know, I can honestly say that I truly, truly appreciate the black community and being in support of understanding what the Asian community is going through. Mainly because we don't deserve your kindness. Like, we don't deserve the amount of gratitude, the moral support, the kindness that you have provided us on all levels of platform when it comes to being so relatable. Simply because of all of the racist shit that you guys have endured from our community in its own. You don't deserve it, you know, because even coming from a family of immigrants, like, for our family to come here to the States and to either piggyback, hop on, ignoring all of those things and not acknowledging a problem of us being racist to Black Americans, but immigrating from a whole nother country and then just developing a whole racist mindset because of what white Americans have planted is freaking insane. So we don't deserve your guys' kindness. We don't deserve this. So when I say that I'm truly, truly appreciative and I really, really do admire the amount of support that we have been getting, I truly mean it. For a while now, I understood that even for myself, that I have appropriated Black culture, and however that may look, right? As simply as being given permission from some of my Black friends to use the N-word, to talking, dressing, and just really trying to find a way to be actually accepted
by the Black community because my own community wouldn't accept me, you know? So when I found a group of people that's willing to accept me for who I am, I wanted to be so relatable that like I pretty much just like pushed myself into appropriating some of the things of your own culture, when in reality the Black community honestly just accepted me for who I was, regardless of whatever it may be. And now that I've been healing from the type of environment that I've grown from, I apologize for ever overstepping any type of boundaries, to ever make it seem like it was ever okay to appropriate anything of the Black community. And that's why I feel like it's so important that we really need to acknowledge that we do not deserve this amount of kindness that the Black community has given us, to support that, like, hey, you know what, we know what you're going through, we are here for you, we understand, because we have done some shit. And at this point, it doesn't even matter if it's the East Asians, the Southeast Asians. We all took a part of that. Do you know what I'm saying? Even with the divide between East Asians and Southeast Asians, and how Southeast Asians are actually looked upon the East Asians, it doesn't matter at that point, because overall, we are all one community here in America. You know, in the States, we're in one community, which is why it's important that we have to honestly talk about all these things. We have to talk about things that our people have done and hold ourselves accountable, so that way we can actually move forward into creating a more unified society. In America, we need to do that. And I'm not also just talking about the Asian community. I'm also noting any other families of immigrants that come here. You guys all understand and know that your families also came here and went along with all of the racism that exists in America, and they went along with it for whatever reason why they did, right? Because we all have our own traumas and we all have a different ways of survival. We all did it. But now in this new society, it is our job to make sure it doesn't get any further than what it has been. This is all of the immigrants. This is the Hispanics. This is the Muslims, Arabs, Jewish, Asians. All of us need to come together and really acknowledge that. For the sake of the future, we have to do that. So for the white people who don't understand, like, you guys need to all inclusively accept accountability for it, because your people were the ones that for generations, hundreds of years, starting from slavery up until now, your families have been teaching generations of racist, to the point where immigrants come over and they adapt that type of mentality. You have to hold yourself accountable. And unfortunately, yes, you do have to pay for it. You have to hold yourself accountable the same way how the Asian community existing right now needs to be accountable of all the racist shit that we have done too. Because that's the only way to fix that. You need to acknowledge it and you have to put in the work. So as much as you're trying to prove to us that you're not one of those people, you need to prove it to your people why they shouldn't be like that. You don't need to be advocating to us. You don't need to be advocating to any other person of color. You need to advocate it to your own people, because the person who told me if it wasn't for you effing Chinese people because of COVID shutdown, that was 5 years ago. He still exists in this world. He's still planting those little seeds with those little remarks out here in this world from 5 years ago. He didn't go anywhere. He's not like he died. So yes, this conversation has truly evolved into something for me. And I just feel like it would be doing a disservice for someone who's just talking about like the whole Asian market and stuff and not really acknowledging that elephant in the room.
I'm never in Asian people's business like I have been this week, but take a listen to this.
I have something to add. Why is it that every black person on my For You page who is commenting on the side-eyeing or not side-eyeing white people in H Mart, they get it like that, like what's going on and why that's a thing. But like there's fully grown Asian creators who are like super defensive of white people for some reason.
Black people do not crave proximity to whiteness. We do not think white is ideal and black is less than. We do not put whiteness on a pedestal, and we do not try to assimilate into whiteness because black culture is one of the dominant prevalent cultures in America. What you're experiencing is black people knowing who our oppressors are, understanding the histories of our oppressors, and understanding how being in proximity of our oppressor has never benefited us ever in the history of our time here in America. Asian people have been made a model minority since your inception into this country as Chinese people. And that has been extended to Koreans, Cambodians, everyone else who's Asian by proxy. And that assimilation or that desire to be considered the model minority and to be propped up above Latinos and black people always makes Asians side with the side of the oppressor, wanting white people in their spaces, being the group that marries white men more than anyone else as a person of color. And that also includes the proximity to whiteness that you guys hold. Now, you couple that with the fact that white people in this country are obsessed with non-white cultures, but do not prop up non-white cultures because they understand that they're the dominant people in this country and they can steal from Asians if they want. They can steal from Latinos if they want. They can steal from black people if they want. But less so the last, because black people have a tendency of calling white people out when they do steal our stuff and culture appropriate it. Whereas you see, Asians don't really make enough noise to combat what white people take from them. So seeing a white person in H Mart, I would give the side eye all fucking day, for sure. Especially because I live in LA and I've been to H Mart a couple of times. It's the only place I can find oxtail and a bunch of other stuff that I cook when I cook Caribbean food or food that black people want. It's the only place where things are still priced regularly. And once white people find shit, prices go through the roof because come with me as I find this new cool spot in Koreatown. We don't need that. The reason why black people can call this out is because this has been happening to us since the inception of time. People like Elvis. Elvis is a caricature of a black man. You look at all of the boy bands that they stole that entire aesthetic and persona from R&B groups. Everything that has been made pop culture in this country derives from black people at a certain point. So when you ask the question as to why there are less Asian people calling out white people in your spaces, it's because culturally you guys are more aligned to be with and care about what white people think about you versus us. And if you want to look at any of the history of this country, which you guys should take a look at our history, but you're so busy trying to be above us instead of understanding that without understanding our history, you'll never truly understand your place in this country. But hey, this is a longer conversation and I'm never in Asian people's business, but I've seen this thing pop up on my page several times this week.
This is no shade, but I think a lot of you guys are just now discovering empathy for black people. And I'm not saying that you haven't cared, but I think you've had sympathy. I think you have felt bad, but I don't think you have been able to fully put yourself in the shoes of the black experience and relate. And you still can't. You won't ever be able to. But I'm watching the comments come through about Renee Good and so many non-black Americans saying, oh my God, like, we can't do anything. We're not safe doing anything. She didn't do anything, and that could have been any of us. I look at that video and I can't stop crying because it just like reminds me of my family. That could have been me. And how do you think black Americans feel? Have felt their entire lives. You're getting it. You're getting it now. And that's the empathy. And that's a good thing. It's not shade. It's not shade. I just can imagine how frustrating that must be as someone who has lived with understanding this, watching at a mass scale the rest of us realize, get a taste of it.
So in Asian families, especially immigrant Asian families, we have our own version of a race talk. Mine was a Chinese family, and in our house, the talk sounded like soft racism, not like eugenics. There was never any insulting of black intelligence or black abilities or black people. It was more practical than that. And it was all about safety. If you want to be safe, you have to align yourself with power If you want a piece of the American dream, you need to follow the money, follow the power, and that meant following the white brick road. My dad told me that I could marry a white man or a Chinese man, but preferably a white man and not a black man. So, what's unspoken there is that Asian men don't have much power either, and black men have less, but white men have all the power. And me, as an Asian girl, had no power at all, that all of my power depended on a man. So it's not just soft racism, it's also soft sexism. And that is the model minority brainwash in a nutshell. It is based on a terrible dark side of the American dream that is anti-blackness. It cuts me to the core.
So, like I said, people really, really didn't find this funny. And a lot of them have written in the comments. So, let's just head down to the comment section and read what people have to say. So, someone said, joking about deporting black Americans isn't edgy, it's ignorant. Black Americans are not migrants. They, their ancestors were brought to this country through slavery, suggesting deportation ignores centuries of history and struggle. Comedy can push boundaries, but when it erases historical trauma and civil rights realities, it stops being clever and starts being offensive. I think this is literally what a lot of people have in mind, honestly. So the next person said the idea that Black Americans should be deported is especially offensive because Black people have deeper generational roots in this country than many others. Slavery, segregation, and Jim Crow, all of that in America history. You can't casually throw out deportation jokes without acknowledging the weight of that past. Words matter. Okay, the next person said comedians often defend themselves by saying it's just a joke, but humor isn't immune for criticism. If a joke punches down or reinforces harmful ideas, people are going to respond. Freedom of speech protects you from the government, not from public backlash. Because honestly, a lot of people are really giving him public backlash right now because people are not finding this funny. So someone else said, I don't think this is about the comedian being Asian. It's about what was said. Any person, regardless of race, who suggests that deporting a group of Americans based on race deserves criticism. Let's focus on the statement itself, not turn it into racial hostility and between communities. I mean, I get that. It doesn't matter where the person is from. What you said wasn't right means what you said wasn't right. Doesn't matter whether you're from America, whether you're from Asia, whatever. We just know that you said what was offensive to the black communities, and we ain't finding it funny. So the next person said, this kind of comment only creates more division between minority communities. Asian and black communities have both faded discrimination in their country. Instead of solidarity statements like this, fuel resentment and mistrust. It's disappointing. Okay, next person said, people have the right to make jokes, even offensive ones, but audiences also have the right to reject them. If the backlash is strong, maybe that's a sign the joke missed the mark. Comedy evolves when comedians listen to the reaction and decide whether they stand by it or learn from it. I actually do hope he learns from it because right now I'm really sure that a lot of people must have been sending him messages and telling him about this, and obviously he should be learning from it. So the next person said, I hope this becomes a moment of reflection rather than the escalation. Racism rhetoric shouldn't be normalized, even under the cover of humor. We can criticize harmful speech without attacking entire communities. The goal should be accountability, understanding, not more hostility. Okay, so people are trying to say that, first of all, some people said that they are not happy about what the statement he made. They do not agree with what he said, and he should be feeling bad about what he said. And honestly, if you look at it, every person, anybody who said that, or who feels like maybe it was a mistake, because a lot of people are coming out and being like, oh, he didn't mean it like that, he was just joking, it's comedy. And people are saying you shouldn't use comedy to hide the truth or reduce what people have gone through. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching this one. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and drop your comments. Please, your comments are so important because I want to know what you think about this. All right, please, all right, remain to the original creators of these videos. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next. Bye.